Welcome back to the channel. This entire bed frame is built from solid red oak, and it started as a stack of rough lumber. Let me show you how I turned it into this. I had a friend reach out and ask if I could build a bed for him and his wife. I told him I'd give it a shot, even though I knew it would take some time. I've built a headboard before, but not an entire bed frame, so this was a new challenge for me. He sent me a few inspiration photos of the style he liked, and we decided to build it out of red oak. He also wanted a darker stain, which works really well with the oak because of the grain pattern. So the first step was heading to the mill and picking up the red oak lumber. Once I got back to the shop, I started milling everything down. I milled the boards to about 1.5 inches thickness and let them sit for a few weeks. This helps the wood adjust after milling and make sure nothing twists or warps too much. After the waiting period, I ran everything through the milling process again to get the boards nice and straight for the headboard panel. To build the headboard, I glued multiple boards together using Titebond 3 wood glue. Once everything was clamped up, the final headboard panel measured about 30 inches tall by 86 inches wide. Next, I built the footboard. The panel came out to about 15 inches tall and 86 inches wide. For the sanding process, I did 120 grit, 180 grit, and 220 grit. After that, I started working on the legs for the headboard. I wanted the headboard to have a slight tilt backward so that it would be more comfortable if someone was sitting up in a bed. So I spent some time figuring out the right angle and where I wanted the tilt to start. The final height of the headboard ended up being 54 inches. I used my circular saw and then my table saw to try and get the angles on the headboard legs to match. I then used a belt sander. Then lastly, I used a joiner that seemed to be the best option. For the edges of both the headboard and the footboard, I wanted to add a little detail. Since the boards are 1.5 inches thick, I thought a 45-degree chamfer would look really clean. I don't have a track saw, so I improvised a little bit. I used my circular saw and clamped a couple of straight boards down as a guide to cut the chamfer. Sometimes you just have to make your own little jig and work with the tools you have. For the legs on the footboard, they're about 1.5 inches thick and 15 inches tall, and they're 4 inches wide. Next up were the bed runners. I made those about 1 inch thick, 85 inches long, and 7.5 inches wide. Once all the construction was done, it was time for the finishing. My friend chose a Minwax Mocha stain, which gives the oak a really rich dark color. After the stain dried, I sealed everything with a polyurethane finish to protect the wood and give it a nice satin sheen. Overall, this was a really fun project and a great learning experience since it was my first time building a full bed frame. If you enjoyed the build, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.